There are many servant speaker concepts that characters in The Pursuit of Happiness portray throughout the entire movie. One of these concepts is the fruit of the Spirit. The fruits of the Spirit are 9 attributes that a person living for Christ embodies. They are love, joy, peace, long-suffering, also known as patience, goodness, faith, meekness, and temperance. The main character, Christopher Gardner, embodies many of these attributes and sometimes fails to. One of the attributes is joy. There are times Christopher doesn't show joy. He gets very angry at times, even though it's understandable why he is. For example, one of his scanners gets stolen. Actually, it gets stolen twice. He also gets very angry when he fights with his wife and his friend over money. There are times he does show joy. For example, when he's with his son. He is almost always happy when he's with his son, Christopher, even in the worst conditions. For example, they had to sleep on the bathroom floor of the subway station because they had nowhere else to go. Christopher Sr. made this as good as he could for his son, even distracted him by pretending that they were living in the Jurassic era and had to hide from the dinosaurs. This is also a great example of love. Another time that he seems joyful is when he takes Christopher Jr. to the beach. He also seems so at peace during this time. He's also extremely joyful when he gets the stockbroker job after his grueling internship. Another fruit of the Spirit that Christopher embodies is gentleness. Christopher is gentle when he fights with his wife, for the most part, and he remains calm and collected. He rarely yelled at his wife, even when she left him and their son. But there are times where he is not gentle. For example, when he got kicked out of their hotel room for failure to pay, he was very harsh and yelled at his son, even when he asked questions and is sad, rather than being understanding. Another fruit of the Spirit that Christopher shows is love. Christopher shows love in everything he does for his family. He makes so many sacrifices for them and wants the best for them. When his wife left, he continued to show love for his son. He also shows love by spending his life savings on bone density scanners to help make more money for his family. He sacrificed so much to keep his son safe. He even donated his own blood to get some extra money since they were close to broke. And when he had this money, he spent some of it on a treat to make his son happy, even though money was tight. He just wanted his son to feel loved and be happy. Another fruit of the Spirit that Christopher shows is goodness. He shows goodness in doing so many favors for his boss or advisor in the internship, even when it is extremely inconvenient for him. For example, he was already late for a meeting with the CEO that could have gotten him way far ahead in his internship, but he had to move his advisor's car, which made him even more late. When he moved the car, he ended up getting a parking ticket, and he paid that with his own money, even though he already had very close to none. There are times that Christopher doesn't show goodness. For example, he runs from a cab driver when he couldn't pay for the ride. He chose to run when he realized he couldn't pay, even though it was his own choice to get in the cab with one of the men from the stockbroker place. He wasn't honest, and he stole from the cab driver. Another fruit of the Spirit that Christopher embodies is patience. Christopher is patient in selling all of his bone density scanners because he knows it's for a good cause, supporting his family. He is also patient in trying to find a new job in the stockbroker place, and he doesn't give up. He finds ways to put himself in a place to succeed. For example, he met with his boss at his job, rode with him in the taxi, and found other ways to put himself ahead of the others. Christopher remained patient throughout the entirety of his internship, running crazy errands and sacrificing his sales for his advisor. He worked so hard, and even though he didn't have as many hours to work as the other interns did, it paid off and he got the job. One final fruit of the Spirit that Christopher shows is faith. Christopher shows faith in still managing to make it to church one day, even though he was going through so much. It seems important to him that church and God still be a part of his and his son's lives. Christopher also shows faith when bad thing after bad thing happens to him, but he doesn't leave his family. He remains faithful to them even when times are tough. Christopher also shows faith in prayer. There are numerous times in the movie where Chris appears to be praying, even though no actual words are spoken. For example, before his interview, when he was wearing clothes full of paint, and when he fixed his last scanner, which was his and his son's last hope, for getting more money to survive. Overall, Christopher shows many of the fruits of the Spirit, but like everyone else on earth, he isn't perfect. Sometimes he slips up, but in the end, he always managed to show love, patience, goodness, faith, gentleness, and joy for his son, God, and other people in his life. Thank you.